Hello everybody, this is English for you and a very warm welcome to the studio. I have my Fazaka students here. Kata, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Peter?
Everything's
I think this is the second time you've been with us, right?
Yes.
Okay, you're feeling...
The camera on me.
Your camera on you, but it doesn't hurt, does it? Okay, fine. Victoria, how are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Victor, what's up?
Great, I'm great.
You're great. Thank you. Evika, give me a wave. Mochi?
Hi, Victor. Are you happy that we leave you on to the studio?
Yeah, I'm very, very happy. Thank you very much. And by the way, are you happy with today's program, which is going to be crime and punishment? Is it interesting?
I really don't understand what you said, but I'm happy that this is the topic today.
I hope that by the end of the show, you will understand everything.
I'm sure.
Today, thank you. And today's special guest is Mr. George Hemingway. And you graduated from New York University Law School, right?
That's true.
And you can practice law in any state in the United States. Is that true?
In any state as long as it's California.
What does that mean? I mean, how come? You have...
Well, if in the United States, if you have to take a bar exam to practice in a given state. So I took the California bar exam, and there are some states that would allow me to practice, but most states require that I take a separate bar exam for the given state.
And you practiced in
California.
California. Thank you very much. Now, would you please, Mr. Hemingway, listen to the crime stories of my students, because then I would like you to judge, to grade that crime. Kota, what is your story?
Well, my mother was abroad this year, and one of her colleagues went walking alone in the street at night, I think, and he was mugged.
She?
No,
He was mugged?
Yeah.
Right, thank you. So it's about mugging. Peter?
Well, it's a bit of pickpocketing. I took my little brother home from school, and on the tram, a small guy tried to take anything off my brother's bag, and I just knocked on his head to
So it was an
do it.
unsuccessful event?
Yes.
Luckily. Thank you very much. Victoria?
It's about a black angel who hit the headlines a few days ago. It's a nurse who gave special medicine to patients to shorten their sufferings, and it's a tricky business. We don't really know what really happened.
Right, thank you very much. And Victor, please?
My story is happened in California, and a kid in a high school named, I think, Andy Williams has caused the death of two fellow students of him, and injured 13 other students.
So it's a typical high school shooting.
Yes, yes.
Right. Mr. Hemingway, if I may turn to you, we have these two words here, felony and misdemeanor. Would you just introduce these two words and then grade these crimes we have just heard about?
Well, felony would be the more serious offense. Misdemeanor would be a lighter or not such serious offense. The way these things came about is in Old England, they were only felonies. And there was only one punishment for a felony, and that was death. So after a while, the judges saw that the Old English juries were reluctant to find people guilty of felonies, because the next thing they had to send a poor bum to be executed. So they had to come up with another group of offenses for which they did not execute the guy, and that's how misdemeanors came. Well, I would think that the mugging is a felony, because it's a crime against a person, since they took or they attempted to take something from you. I would say the pickpocketing, for all practical purposes, is probably a petty theft. It's probably misdemeanor. I would say that the very I'm surprised how nicely people coin these phrases, angel of death. You know. So, but I think she helped people in their sufferings. Usually, when you kill somebody, that's what you do. You put them out of their earthly misery, and you give them to God. But I'm not sure He's that happy about that. So I would say murder, I think it's first-degree murder, is definitely a felony. And I think going around in a high school with a machine gun shooting people, it's also first-degree murder, and that's also a felony.
So that's not very nice. Thank you very much. And you have 4 word cards in your desk. So would you please show your word cards, say them out loud, and try to explain what they mean. Kata, please.
Kidnapping, and it means that some people steal other people.
Take hostage. In exchange for?
For money.
That's it, kidnapping. Where would you put it, felony or misdemeanor?
I think felony.
You agree, Mr. Hemingway?
Yes.
Definitely felony. It's a terrible crime, very serious crime. What have you got?
It's burglary, and it means when a guy breaks in some other people's house and takes everything which is valuable.
Yeah, so breaking into a house and stealing things. Where would you put it, felony or misdemeanor?
I don't know, I'm not a lawyer.
Okay, but how do you feel about it? Is it very serious or not that serious?
Misdemeanor because it's not against the people, just...
Mr. Hemingway, you
It
agree?
is a felony. It is a very serious offense because my home is my castle. You're invading a man's castle. So, yes, it is a felony.
Thank you. Victoria,
Mine
please.
is petty theft, which is stealing something of small value. And it's a misdemeanor.
Mr. Hemingway?
Yes.
Thank you. Victor, please.
It's a murder, and it's a person kills another one.
Deliberately, I believe.
Yes, deliberately. And it's
Deliberately,
felony.
and I think that's a very important word.
Yeah.
And it is?
Felony.
Yes.
Yes.
No question about that. Thank you very much. We've been talking about crime and punishment, and I think we need a beautiful statue. I wonder if you can make it out. But Victoria, what can you see in the picture?
I think it's the statue of the famous Roman goddess.
Goddess?
Goddess. She's Justitia.
Yes, you're very clever. Fantastic. So it's a representation, it's a statue of justice. What can you see in her hands?
Scales and a sword.
And why do you think she's holding scales and a sword?
Sword is the verdict, maybe the sign of the verdict, and scales are she wants to measure your sins.
Fantastic, isn't it, Mr. Hemingway?
Yes, I think it is.
I'm impressed. Fantastic. But if I may turn to you again, unfortunately we can't see her eyes here because there's a ladder. And the eyes are usually...
Covered.
Say it again.
They are covered.
Miss Hemingway, why are the eyes covered?
Well, justice must be blind. Not to the facts, but must be blind to every other thing other than the facts. So we want to be blind to prejudice. We don't want to be prejudiced. We just want to weigh the facts and not see all the things that we shouldn't be seeing.
Thank you very much. This statue dates back to Greco-Roman times, and we in Hungary, Hungarian law students must study Roman law. How is it in the States?
Well, the absolute distinction between most European countries and the United States and England is that in Anglo-Saxon jurisdiction they use common law, and in Europe, for the most part, they use civil law. So the primary distinction is that in civil law everything is codified, and in common law the courts deal with precedents. And the previous case of precedents, and then there's the stare decisis, from the Latin word stare decisis. And basically it builds on previous cases and not necessarily a codification, although in modern times, even under common law, there is a great deal of codification.
Thank you very much. So I believe the key words are common law and civil law, right? And if you look at the projector, let me introduce these 3 people, Sir Wilfred and Mr. Vole, and on the right you can see Mr. Mayhew. You know the names, but you don't know what they are. So would you please listen to this little bit and try to tell me what they are. Would you roll the tape, please?
Here. Young man, you may or may not have murdered a middle-aged widow, but you certainly saved the life of an elderly barrister.
I haven't murdered anybody. It's absurd. Christine, that's my wife. She thought I may be implicated and that I needed a lawyer. That's why I went to see Mr. Mayhew. Now he thinks he needs a lawyer, and now I have two lawyers. It's rather silly, don't
Mr.
you?
Vole, I am a solicitor. Sir Wilfrid is a barrister. Only a barrister can actually plead a case in court.
Oh, I see.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hemingway, you recognize this movie?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's one of the great movies, one of the greatest movies ever made. Witness for the prosecution.
Witness for the prosecution, and we have this still picture again. Could you help me who they are? Better to say what they are. Victor?
That man is a barrister.
Sir Wilfrid is a barrister. Excellent.
He's the verdict.
I would say that maybe the suspect.
Suspect, yes.
And the man on the right?
He's the solicitor.
Victoria, say it again.
Solicitor.
Solicitor. So we have a barrister here and the solicitor on the right. Could I have those two words, please? And again, may I turn to you? Do you think this is American English?
No, it's definitely England, because in the United States we do not use those phrases, solicitor and barrister. In the United States we say attorney, and we'll say counselor at law. But in fact, there is not a great deal of distinction between the two in the United States, except to say that some lawyers are trial lawyers and they try cases, and other lawyers are office lawyers. They don't go to court. But in England, there is a very clear distinction between the two, which does not exist in the United States.
Not exist anymore, but we have these four words here. So solicitor and barrister in British English, and counselor and attorney at law in American English. Right. We're going to have another three words pretty soon, and they are very, very important characters in a law court, in a criminal case. We're going to have judge, prosecutor, and defense counsel. And I have these three words on these three cards. So, Mr. Hemingway, if you don't mind, would you just draw one? And okay, and try and speak accordingly. So we're gonna know that whether he's a judge, a prosecutor, or a defense lawyer. Would you like to stand up for this?
Okay.
Okay, then let's change places.
Stand over here. Okay.
Right.
It is now time, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that I give you instructions. You must obey the law. I will read the law to you, and you must bring your verdict based on the instruction I'm giving you.
Thank you very much. Which one do you think?
The judge.
Say it again, Kata.
The judge.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Would you draw another one?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you heard that my client allegedly stole a horse. This is not true. All I can say is my client saw the horse, wanted to try out a horse, got on a horse, and the horse ran away.
Thank you very much, Victoria.
The defense counsel.
Yes, and would you please look at the projector and choose the third one?
Yes, the prosecutor.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I must tell you, it was not a horse, it was an elephant.
Thank you very much. Peter?
Prosecutor.
Say it again, please.
Prosecutor.
Prosecutor. Thank you very much. Great. Okay, what we're going to do, I believe that now we're going to move to a special court. Again, we're going to see a bit from a film, and it's going to be a very special court. This is a court-martial, a military court, okay? A court-martial. And two United States Marines are in trouble. And your task is, what are they charged with? Okay? Would you roll the tape, please?
All rise. Where are we?
Docket number 411275, VR-5, the United States versus Lance Corporal Harold W. Dawson and Private First Class Loudon Downey. The accused are charged with murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and conduct unbecoming a United States Marine.
Does the defense wish to enter a plea?
Yeah. They're not guilty.
Thank you very much. Again, Mr. Hemingway, you recognize this film?
Yes.
Would you say the title? A few
good men.
Few good men. Thank you very much. And what are these Marines charged with? If you could catch all three charges, would you put up your hand? Victoria, okay.
Murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and conduct on becoming a U.S. Marine.
Conduct on becoming. Conduct on becoming. Unsuitable behavior. For example, if you use bad language or if you smoke, it's conduct on becoming a Fazekas student. I hope you agree, right? Okay, good. Now we're going to skip the whole trial and we're going to see the end of the whole trial, and this is going to be the verdict, which is the decision of the jury. And would you listen to it? And my question is, what is the verdict? Would you roll the tape, please?
All rise. Have the members reached a verdict?
We have, sir.
Lance Corporal Dawson, Private First Class Downey. On the charge of murder, the members find the accused not guilty. On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder, the members find the accused not guilty. On the charge of conduct unbecoming a United States Marine, the members find the accused guilty as charged. The accused are hereby sentenced to time already served, and you are ordered to be dishonorably discharged from the Marine Corps. This court-martial is adjourned. All rise.
Thank you very much. Kota, what's the verdict?
Well, the judge said on the charge of murder they are not guilty, neither are they on the charge of conspiracy to commit murder, but they are guilty on the charge of conduct unbecoming.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Exactly. Mr. Hemingway, the jury decides whether the accused is guilty or not. So what is the function of the judge?
Well, first of all, in many cases, there is no jury. And if there is a jury, which in many cases, of course, there is, then the judge is the one who supervises the trial. The judge is the one who leads the trial. The judge is the one who gives instructions of the law. And the judge has absolute supervision of the entire trial. And the judge has the right to set aside the jury's verdict if the evidence and the law brings him to such conclusion that the jury could not have reached that verdict. A reasonable man could not have, under any circumstances, reached that verdict under the law with these facts. So the jury has a lot of, the judge has a lot of discretion.
So a judge is a very prestigious place then, isn't it?
A judge's position is a prestigious one, certainly.
Yeah.
It is. And in fact, in the federal courts, judges are given the position for life.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to have three very interesting situations, and I need your help because you're going to judge, and then I'm going to turn to Mr. Hemingway what the verdict would be in Los Angeles. Mr. Hemingway, can you see this?
Yes,
would you read it out, please?
If you set a trap, a 60-kilo weight just above the front door for any burglars who might enter the house, are you breaking the law?
Thank you very much. Your right is Victor, please.
I think we aren't breaking the law because our house is our castle, and I think...
So you have the right to place a 60-kilo weight above your front door. So that's... Thank you very much. Kota?
I think we don't have the right to set it above our door because if it falls down, then it falls on a man and he dies. And I think we don't have the right.
But as Victor said, your home is your castle.
Okay,
you can do whatever you want.
You've got those, the key and the what is it called?
The lock? Or...
Yes.
Uh-huh.
You can lock your door.
Yeah, Peter,
And
please.
you shouldn't kill a man in your house either.
So you mustn't. Shouldn't or mustn't? Which one would you go for? Mustn't. Mr. Hemingway?
Well, it depends. Generally, if you are at home and he sets on you, the burglar breaks into your house, and you feel your life is in danger, and he's within your house, and the 60-kilo weight falls on him, and there is it causes serious bodily injury or death to him, you're probably okay. Now, on the other hand, if you're not at home, and he comes in, the 60-kilo weight falls on him, and he dies, you probably go to jail because your life was not threatened. You do not have a right, generally, to set such trap in an empty house. But if you're in the house, if you would have the right to defend yourself against bodily harm, against a burglar, then you have the right to do it in an automatic setting.
Thank you very much. Now here comes the second example. Mr. Hemingway?
If you promise to marry your girlfriend and then change your mind shortly before the wedding, can she sue you?
Can she take you to court? Can she sue you, say, 2 days before the wedding? Victoria, what do you think?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because it was just a promise, and it's
You can break a promise.
no, you shouldn't. But it was the business of the two people. So if they don't trust each other, they should know each other better. And it might be lucky that they don't get married because they don't get divorced.
Thank you very much. Any other opinions? No? Mr. Hemingway?
Well, there was such a tort, that is a wrong, as breach of promise. And in fact, if a man left the woman after he made a promise to marry and it was announced in the community, there was an actionable offense in old English law and in some place in American law. But as the students pointed out, today it is no longer an offense, and he can just walk away. It's not nice, but...
Okay, so good news, boys. And the third situation is, yes, please?
If two armed thieves break into a house, guns in hand, and one of them kills the house owner, is his accomplice guilty of murder?
Victor, please?
I think no. Maybe just maybe just burglary.
So maybe just one of them is guilty of
And the
murder,
other is
and the other one is not. That's your opinion, Victoria?
I agree with Victor.
Everybody agrees on this? Peter, please?
But the other guy helped the first to kill the house owner, so maybe it's not just burglaring.
Okay, fine. Mr. Hemingway?
In most states in the United States, there is a rule called the felony murder rule, which says that if a crime is committed if a killing is committed, a murder is committed in the commission of another felony, another offense, in this case burglary, then that is first-degree murder, and the other person participating in it, in the burglary, is as guilty of the murder, first-degree murder, as the other person. So in this case, if there is a death penalty, both of them would receive the death penalty.
Both of them would receive the death penalty?
Yes.
You've been saying this first-degree murder and second-degree murder. What's the difference?
Well, generally, homicide is the killing of one human being by another. And then, depending how the killing occurs, if it's an unlawful killing without justification, or if it is committed under certain circumstances or in the commission of a felony, that is a first-degree murder. That brings the most severe punishment. And there's a second-degree murder generally, and there are other forms of homicide such as manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, voluntary manslaughter, and these, of course, bring different sort of punishment.
Thank you very much. And in this case, when they broke into the house and killed the house owner, can you think of any mitigating circumstances, like this is the first time they've ever broken into a house?
No.
No mitigating circumstances?
I cannot think of any mitigating circumstances.
For example, they were drunk.
That's not a mitigating circumstance.
So you can't think of a mitigating circumstance?
No.
No. Do you understand this word, mitigating circumstances, that make a crime less serious? Okay. Thank you very much. Now, it's going to be another word, referendum. It's an occasion when in a country everybody votes to decide on a particular subject, like, for example, the death penalty or the capital punishment. If a referendum was held in Hungary, would you vote for the death penalty or against? Put up your hand if you are against the death penalty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody's against the death penalty. Could you support why? Peter, please.
Because we could give another chance to everybody, so after 20 years in prison, everybody could change.
I don't think so.
Kata, please.
I think they won't change, but we still don't have the right to kill another man.
Yes.
Okay, so that's your opinion. We still don't have the right. Victoria,
It's the
please.
same, because other people are equal to us, so we don't have the right to judge them.
Right. Mati, you wanted to say something?
I agree with Victoria. Because
Right. Thank you. Victor, please.
And we became guilty too.
Aha. So
Killing
then we're going to be guilty. Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Hemingway, your opinion on this problem?
I agree with the Bible, an eye for an eye. Kill him. I agree with capital punishment. I agree with the death penalty. I think a man guilty of first-degree murder should be executed speedily.
For the first time? If
you kill someone and you execute him, you can only do it once. So I guess the first time.
And you don't think that they can change, like Peter said? I mean,
Who can change?
I mean, the criminal.
Well, do I want to find out whether he's going to change or whether he's going to kill me next? I'm not inclined to find out. I think everybody has a chance to live decently. If you choose not to, you have to take the punishment.
But obviously you're talking about first-degree murder, deliberate.
Oh, absolutely. I'm talking about first-degree murder, and only about first-degree murder. I'm not talking about second-degree or manslaughter or rape or any other crime. I'm only talking about first-degree murder when someone with deliberate intent, with deliberation, maybe lying in wait, or in the commission of a felony, kills another human being. That he gets a trial, he gets a jury of his peers to listen to everything, he gets appeals, years of appeals, he gets a number of courts to look at it in the United States, and when all said, boy, you're guilty, you murdered another human being, then I would say, now is the time to take the pill, now is the time to take your punishment, stand up and be counted, and good night.
And face the music,
And
right?
face the music, yes.
Right, so certainly we've listened to a very strict idea on the death penalty. Okay, and could we have all the words, because I believe we've learned a lot today. Right, and the first word is going to be in Hungarian. I hope it's going to come up pretty soon. And I'm going to test you, Matyi and Evike, how much you have learned. And, right, it's going to be, by the way, I'm faster than this projector.
Tell us the words.
Ügyész.
Prosecutor.
Say it again.
Prosecutor.
Excellent. 1 red point. Now I'm turning to you, Evike. Hadbíróság.
Court martial.
Beautiful. Court martial. Right. Ítélet.
Verdict.
Everybody please.
Verdict.
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 Right. Enyhítő körülmény.
Mitigating circumstances.
What would you say it?
Mitigating circumstances.
Yes, circumstances, mitigating circumstances. And the last word, népszavazás. Everybody please, 1, 2, 3.
Referendum.
Referendum. Mr. Hemingway, thank you very much for coming along and helping us with all those words. And see you sometime. Bye-bye.